Welcome in to another new podcast from Coatings Pro Magazine. I'm your host, Ben Dubose, and I'm the news editor with the AMP publications team. AMP, of course, is a shorthand acronym for the Association for Materials Protection and Performance, of which Coatings Pro is a member magazine. Today, we're chatting with Kirk Leipz, Global Business Director of Transportation at paints and coatings manufacturer Sherwin-Williams. Kirk works within the company's general industrial business, so we're going to be talking about that today with a particular emphasis on the transportation sector. Kirk, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. Why don't you start by telling our listeners a bit more about your career background? What's your personal journey been like, both within Sherwin-Williams as well as the coatings industry as a whole?
Yeah. So thank you, Ben, for the invitation. I really appreciate being here today. And so, yes, I'm a long-term Sherwin-Williams employee. This is actually my 32nd year that I've been both with Sherwin-Williams and in the industry. So my time in the industry has all been with Sherwin-Williams, but it has mostly all been in the industrial segments that we service. So I started out early on, very soon after college, managing one of our standard paint stores. But within a matter of 3 years, I made my way to the industrial segments of Sherwin-Williams, and I've moved up through multiple positions there, mostly in sales and operations. Took my first global marketing role about 2 years ago now. So again, a series of opportunities that have led to multiple positions, but all with Sherwin-Williams and mostly all in our industrial segments.
All right, so let's expand on that a little bit more. As far as the industrial business, the transportation sector, what are the types of products and resources that you all have available? What's in development? Just speaks to Sherwin's purview within those fields.
Yeah, so within general industrial division of Sherwin-Williams, there are multiple segments to include our heavy equipment segment, which is agriculture and construction equipment, as well as transportation. We have the energy segment. We also have our building product segments, doors, windows, exterior building fixtures, things of that nature. But I'll speak more specifically about the transportation segment because that's what I'm responsible for now. Within transportation, we actually separate our business into 7 different segments. Those are commercial vehicle, mostly work trucks, which are what was represented in the recent NTEA show. It also includes trailer manufacturers. It includes our military coating segment. It includes heavy truck and bus segment, the underbody, underhood, which is all of the components such as shocks and brakes and struts that you don't actually see on the vehicle, but they're also produced and coated. It includes our rail segment, and then our newest addition to the transportation segment is our EV battery segment as well. So 7 subsegments within transportation, and we are focused on delivering differentiated solutions into all 7 of them globally.
So in terms of their corrosion control needs, what are the historical challenges from applicators and especially asset owners in this space? What feedback do you get? What do they need as far as protection from coatings, both in terms of the properties when you apply them, as well as the technical features when they're on the asset?
Well, when you talk about corrosion protection, it's really about just overall asset protection that we talk about, right? I mean, as we all know, the cost of everything has increased. The cost of these types of machinery have significantly increased in recent years. So end users, consumers of these things, if you will, are looking for more longevity out of them. And that often comes back to performance in many different things to include the coating. The 2 areas of focus there are generally corrosion resistance, as you say, trying to eliminate rust and just general deterioration of the substrates that these things are made out of. So we have a variety of different product offerings that focus on superior corrosion resistance. Most of them focus on the number one area where corrosion resistance starts, or corrosion, I should say, starts is on edges of things, especially sharp edges of metal components. So a lot of our focus is on how do we improve edge coating and edge rust resistance and things of that nature, chip resistance, all of that kind of stuff, which is generally where the problem of corrosion starts in those areas. But the other factor too isn't just corrosion resistance, it's also weatherability, just maintaining color and gloss retention so that the product continues to look nice, as well as it protects the product from UV exposure, which can also deteriorate many of the substrates that are used as well. So our focus from a technical standpoint is how do we continue to drive improvement into those areas, just asset protection around corrosion resistance and weatherability.
Yeah, and as a manufacturer, I know that at the end of the day, you can have all these technical properties, but they're only going to work as well as the system is applied. So I know one thing that's of particular interest for you guys is combining not just the products, but adding the training and the support so that they can actually be applied correctly. How important is that to be able to combine the products and the technical expertise with the resources you all have available to make sure that end applicators are actually installing them correctly?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question and one that I like to talk about because it's where we truly differentiate in the market space. We have a very robust product portfolio that includes all sorts of technologies and dozens of different products. All of them, we believe, compete extremely well, and some of them we believe even differentiate from our competitors in the market space. But the real area in the market space where we competitively differentiate is how we go to market and how we service customers. We, by large measure, have the largest number of experienced sales and technical service representatives in the field. That allows us to become less of a supplier and more of a partner to our customers and offer things such as regular line audits, recommendations on how to improve process as well as improve performance, maintain and lower cost, if you will, and even do things such as training painters. Labor is an issue for all of our customers. It's the paint shop is often an area where there's a high level of turnover. So our ability to work with and train applicators for our customers is another huge asset that we offer. So again, I would say fantastic product portfolio and certainly some things there that differentiate us, but our true point of differentiation is how we deliver service to our customers and become actual partners and not just a vendor.
Yeah, and the application is part of it, but I know you have some direct outreach to those customers as well. What are some examples of you all working with the end user in this space, the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers? How do you all work with the end customer in this case?
Yeah, so I can think of a couple of examples that we've had with just recent new business wins with customers that we've worked with. One is a case where a manufacturer of service bodies was actually won a new contract, but that new contract, along with their existing business, required them to significantly increase the amount of throughput they were getting through their shop. At the time that they called us in, each one of these complex units, these new units that they began to build, was taking them around 65, 69 hours to get through the finishing process, which seemed excessive to them, and it was creating a massive bottleneck uh, for their shop in general, causing them to work their employees many overtime hours and just all of the issues that come with those kinds of things. We're able to work with them over a series of a couple of months to really understand their process and where their bottlenecks were. And along with that understanding, their agreement to change some of their process, as well as some enhanced coatings that we were able to provide, we were able to drop that service time from 69 hours a unit down to 5 hours a unit, would just completely change the footprint of how they move things through their plant, change their process entirely, and allowed them to get back to a normal working schedule and just really took the pressure off of them and being able to meet the new demand of this new contract in a much better way. And obviously lowered costs for them in the process.
Right. So I know we're wrapping up the first quarter of the year. And in our industry, and I feel like in most, this is trade show season. There's a lot going on
Mhm.
out in the field. You mentioned the NTEA, the Work Truck Week, which was in early March that I know you were at. When you go out and about to these industry shows, and so you're talking to many of these customers and potential clients, what are the talking points that you hear from those guys? What do they want to know from you? And what are their, I guess, needs, their concerns, their pain points? Just speak to what that dialogue is like and what your customers or potential customers want to know from you all.
Yeah. So I would say much of it just enforces what we already knew. And part of what we've already talked about here now is that asset protection is a huge thing. They are being asked for extended warranties on their finished products, and therefore they're looking for higher levels of performance for all of the things that they use. But it has to be, cost consideration within those things as well. So they're looking for just that, things that enhance their ability to offer warranties, which is that asset protection, the corrosion resistance performance, as well as the weatherability performance. All of those things are becoming even more important because, again, they are asking to extend warranties on their finished goods all of the time. But the other thing that they're looking for is again, what we truly pride ourselves on is for people to become much more of a true partner in their business and not just a supplier to their business. Most of our customers fully admit that they're far from coatings experts, and they're often not fantastic at running highly efficient paint shops. So they need help. And they really do appreciate our ability to offer that help and come in as a true partner and not just a vendor. And then, of course, there's the other piece that always drives interest, and that is innovation. What's next? What's the next thing that's going to change the industry and that sort of thing?
So let me follow up on that. As far as newer technologies and processes that are out there, obviously every year it feels like there's more that's added to the portfolio. What's out there in 2025 as far as new technologies that are potentially helpful to those customers?
Yeah, so as far as what's become recently available, there are several things. In the past couple of years, our Duraspar IP urethane liquid line has been a big winner for us. It is a 2K urethane system, which is common within the industry, but what makes this product unique is the ability to truly build full hiding power and full color retention through a single pass of product, wherein most of our competitors' products, require two passes or much more film thickness to achieve the same thing. So that has been one that's been very positive for us. In the powder coating side, we have our One Cure technology, especially in the trailer industry and some of the commercial vehicle industry that's really trying to derive corrosion resistance, that are powder coaters. They have moved to a two-coat system, a true primer and a true top coat of powder. But older technology would require you to apply the primer, cure it in an oven, allow it to cool, then apply the top coat, again cure it in an oven, and allow it to cool before it's ready for exterior exposure or full assembly or whatever the case may be. This One Cure technology allows you to eliminate a couple of steps out of that process. You can apply the primer. You do not have to cure it in any way before you can directly apply the top coat. It's why we call it One Cure, or dry on dry powder system. Only have to cure it in the oven through one cycle, and then it's ready for exterior exposure or assembly work or whatever is needed. The unique thing about that is not only does it increase efficiency through the process by eliminating a couple of steps, all of our test data also indicates that the fact that those two products are gelling together in a single curing cycle actually enhances performance for corrosion resistance and allows better edge coverage, and it just performs generally better in corrosion protection than a two-coat system that's individually baked, if you will. So those are two things. We also have some unique technologies more recently out that eliminate isocyanates from our top coat products. So an isocyanate-free top coats that actually perform at a very similar level to a 2K urethane type of system.
I know there's no crystal ball, but you've mentioned innovation a couple of times. What does the future look like in terms of technologies that are, I guess, in the pipeline right now, but not actually ready to roll out? I know you're not going to give away the farm on this podcast, but just broadly speaking, is there anything on the horizon that you think is maybe going to change the market over the next few years?
One thing that we're excited about inside of Sherwin-Williams is that we believe so much in future innovation, new technologies, and how they'll impact the market that we actually have a dedicated team within our technical organization, within our laboratories that focus solely on innovation. And they're looking at next generation technologies that will truly be differentiating. And we have a number of active projects going on. Of course, you're correct. I can't speak directly to them today because, we do expect to have intellectual property around many of them. But I can tell you that most of them are focused on the key areas that we believe will drive the industry, and that is, increased efficiency, reducing the amount of energy that's needed to cure products or to apply products. So as we all know, the cost of energy has risen significantly, and most people expect it to continue to increase. So if we can find a product that performs well and significantly reduces the need for energy to make it work through a process, that's another one that we're focused on as well. We're also looking at, from a regulatory standpoint, eliminating some of the chemicals that are commonly used in coatings that would be ideal if we could find more environmental and health and protection friendly chemicals to use as well. So that's another area of focus there. And generally, it's just continuing to enhance that asset protection through even further superior corrosion resistance and weatherability as well. So all of those things are in scope of some of the work that's being done in our innovation lab.
Before we wrap up, I want to turn our focus back to the partnership angle one more time, because you've referenced that a few times as a differentiating factor for you guys at Sherwin-Williams. So what does that look like if someone decides to get involved with you guys for their assets, for a project, whatever the case may be? I know it's not just about the product data sheets, because there's always the question of, well, how thoroughly is an end user going to actually read those? I know some of it is also a back and forth, be it on the phone, by email, by text. What does that partnership actually look like in terms of you working with a customer and being there as a constant source of support for them throughout a project and really throughout an asset's life cycle?
Yeah, so it's a great question again. And I would say that we really like to get face to face with customers as early as possible, right? And generally, what that will look like is one of our field salespeople, along with one of our field tech service representatives, will come into a potential customer's facility and we'll talk to them about the issues that they face, the problems that they're trying to address, whatever their needs are. And then one of the first things we like to do is an extensive line audit
Okay.
to have them walk us through the process. And oftentimes, this isn't just an audit of the finishing operation. It often goes back into other aspects of their process before the product actually gets to the finishing room, just so that we understand the entirety of their process. So when we start to determine a plan to help them try to improve whatever the challenge that they're facing is, that we understand the entirety of the process. So from that, we'll do an extensive line audit. Sometimes we'll even include others, such as our design engineering group that have extensive knowledge of various processes and things of that nature, and try to develop a plan that addresses the specific challenges that they have, whether that's a performance challenge or a throughput challenge or a cost challenge or whatever the case may be. And we'll develop a plan that addresses that very specifically, and then generally, we'll ask for them to allow us to trial whatever it is we're recommending. Often that turns into multiple trials to completely prove it out, and hopefully, ultimately, a transition to whatever the recommendation was. So that's
Yep.
the general process that we go through, and we're very present through all of that. And then even once we're successful, we win the business, and this process is in place. Regular visits from our field sales and tech service support teams are common for us. We like to stay very close inside our customers' facilities on a regular basis.
And I'm guessing one of the differentiating factors for you guys, if someone is looking at multiple manufacturers, Sherwin has multiple tents under one large umbrella, if you will, in that obviously you work within the general industrial business and you're focused on the transportation sector in particular. But if they have questions or need insight from some other aspect of the industry, then the fact that Sherwin has all these resources under one umbrella, under one roof, that's another differentiating factor as well, right?
Absolutely. We try to stay close with our counterparts in all of the other business units, and we commonly pass on leads or inquiries or, whatever the case may be. And I will say I'm proud of the fact that throughout our different business units, we work very closely together. It's a true family type of environment that we're proud of. And yes, we assist with our other business units, customers that have a need, whether it turns into something significant for our business unit or not. If they tell us they need the assistance, we gladly help. Yes.
Yeah, and you've got people and resources all over the country. I know you travel a lot, but the bottom line is Sherwin is never far away. Kirk, thank you so much for taking the time today. For anyone listening who wants to learn more about you, or more likely, I think, about Sherwin's product offerings in this space, what are the best ways that they can do that?
Yeah, so you can reach out directly to me. I think that my email address and LinkedIn are going to be provided here. And if I'm not the right person at the time, I can certainly direct you to who is. Again, a very extensive group of highly experienced people in the field, both sales and technical service. And I have no doubt that whatever the need is, we have someone with experience in that area that can help.
Absolutely. Kirk, thanks so much for the time.
Yes, thank you.
All right, that'll do it for today's episode. Great insight from Kirk Lipes of Sherwin-Williams. If you want more resources from our end, Coatings Pro or AMP, just search out our website. You can go to coatingspromag.com or amp.org, ampp.org. And of course, you can also search for the Coatings Pro interview series wherever it is that you listen to your podcast and find lots of other topics and episodes in our backlog. Until next time, this is Where We'll Break. For Kirk Lipes, I'm Ben Dubose. Thanks again for listening, and please come back soon for another new Coatings Pro podcast.